Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful night, evening, day, wherever you are. I hope it's good. So I'm going to be doing a trilogy review of How to Train Your Dragon. And I'm going to break it down into segments for you all so you can watch each one if you need to. But it's all going to be one video. So How to Train Your Dragon, the first one from 2010, brilliant movie. Absolutely love it. Objectively, you got a great story. You have a setup, you have a payoff, you have a build-up in between, and it works. The way that Hiccup is basically named for being a hiccup in the way of things. He's always in the way, and he's not really useful, and yet he finds use in himself when he takes down the Night Fury, which becomes Toothless the Dragon, and befriends this dragon. It's a great story. The effects that they have for this movie are actually pretty good for their time. It is a digital movie, and it has all the right comedy in all the right moments. It has all the right seriousness in all the right moments, and it really does a great job with mouth movements, lip movements, when you're tracing dialogue and when you are having to play the characters. The cast that they have, Jay Baruchel, who plays Hiccup, is great at his job. Gerard Butler, who plays Stoic the Vast. Hard to go wrong with Gerard Butler when it comes to playing characters like Vikings and other. America Ferrera, who plays Astrid, I think she does a great job. Jonah Hill, I mean, I'm not fans of a lot of these people personally, or of their, different and very extreme viewpoints. However, I do find that their acting in these movies is very well done. Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Craig Ferguson as Gobber. Dude is a freaking legend when it comes to delivering great comedic lines. T.J. Miller, I mean, they brought in a lot of different and a lot of great comedic talent for this film, and yet they also proved that they can do the right tones of seriousness as well. Kristen Wiig is actually very good as Roughnut in Tough Nut being T.J. Miller. My gosh, they are just so well done at it. Jonah Hill being Snotlout. Yeah, I think that's his name. Yeah, Snotlout. Crazy name. But these are all Vikings. Now, the Viking culture is definitely not what they have it in here. Originally, the town of Burke, or the village of Burke, is fighting dragons, keeping them from taking their livestock and whatnot, but it eventually does lead to the coexistence with dragons, because Hiccup, when trying to find the Night Fury and wants to kill it so that he could be remembered and so that he could be accepted, realizes he can't do it because he is not that killer. Deep down, he is a compassionate being. And I love that about his character, because he does what he needs to in order to become a better person. But having that compassion is what leads him to being that better person. And I really do enjoy how the movie progresses, of how he's trying to help the Night Fury, but he's also learning from the Night Fury about how to train other dragons and how to tame them. Eels, which is oddly enough, it's actually a sea crate, but it's a form of snake. But eels scare dragons. Grass can make them more nice. Tickling them underneath the neck gets them to pretty much play dead. I mean, it's a real nice story, and it's great for kids and adults. And I really enjoy this. So, objective for How to Train Your Dragon, this movie is a 9 out of 10. There's very little in the way of flaw here. Maybe a little bit of lag here and there, but overall, The story is great. Subjectively, 10 out of 10. Moviegoer, 10 out of 10. So moving over to How to Train Your Dragon 2, it continues a 5-year journey later. Now, I learned that Hiccup in this movie is 20, so in the first movie he's 15. Now, he is now 20 years old. He's upgraded his prosthetic leg, because in the last one he lost the leg by falling in the fire from the great dragon that was chasing him, and Toothless saved him. But however, he did lose the leg, or his left leg. So as you can see here, he has the prosthetic left leg, but now it's also interchangeable from riding to walking, which is nice. It shows that he's basically, for that time period, a mechanical genius. He is not just a warrior, but he is learning to be an innovative warrior as well as a dragon rider, and he still has that compassion. He's not a killer. He doesn't seek to kill. He doesn't seek to conquer. He just seeks to be what is, or be himself. And yes, Astrid is now his girlfriend and whatnot, and the town of Burke has flourished in 5 years under coexistence with dragons. They are prospering and whatnot now that they are not having their livestock raided. It's the same cast, great cast of characters, with the addition of Jaimin Hansu and Kit Harington from Game of Thrones, and Jaimin Hansu from a slew of many different movies. And he's a great actor. I like Jaimin Hansu. Kit Harington playing Eret, son of Eret, adds to the seriousness of the films and whatnot, but also does a good job with the humor. Jaimin Hansu playing the villain, which is Drago Bloodfist, or Bloodfist, but they call him Bloodfist, where he tames dragons through force and showing no fear. And then we see that also Cate Blanchett is in this movie, because Cate Blanchett is in this movie as the long-lost mother that Hiccup lost when he was just a small boy, or when he was a baby, actually. And we learn that his compassion and his ability, or his unique ability to understand dragons, comes from her. Her ability, or she has not a special talent, but she's open-minded and compassionate, which Hiccup actually inherited from her. And it really is a great story where, Cate Blanchett does a great job voicing her, and I really thought that she did a great job. The battle and the effects are actually a little bit more tighter with the textures and whatnot. As you can see, you can actually see a lot more scale work with Toothless, and they do a good job with making Hiccup look a little bit older. And I really do enjoy the story, because there is a tragedy in this one where Stoic is killed. He unfortunately is killed by Toothless due to Toothless being under the influence of an alpha dragon that just killed a different alpha, or the other alpha. And so it then took control over Toothless, and Toothless was about to kill Hiccup, but Stoic got in the way to save his son. And it really is a heartbreaking moment. But it also allows Hiccup that growth that he needs, because he's also his father was trying to groom him for stepping up to be the new chieftain of their Viking clan. So at the end, when he finally breaks through to Toothless under the sway of the Alpha, it is a wonderful story arc where he is able to help Toothless break out of that hold. And Toothless is also able to really stand his ground against this massive bewilderbeast of a dragon, and stand against it, because, well, his trust in Hiccup is so powerful, and his relationship with Hiccup is so powerful. So it really does a wonderful job. Also, you have his mother unlocking the spine on Toothless, which allows him to have greater, sharper turns, which is a nice little neat trick, as well as an upgraded tail fin for Toothless and whatnot for this movie. The movie is such a great moment. I mean, also Astrid and Hiccup are now in a relationship, but they're not, or it's evolved a little bit, but not too much, because they're in their 20 years old each, so they're not, or it's still a young relationship, but it has the potential to move further because she sticks by him no matter what. After the events of the first film, she understands that Hiccup is a compassionate leader, and when he is finally chosen to, or decreed to lead, it's a great moment at the end of the film. So moving on, or objectively, before we move on to the third one, How to Train Your Dragon 2 is a great 9 out of 10 objectively. It still has a little bit of lag. However, the pacing is a lot more even. The acting is immensely powerful. There's a little bit more humor in it that I think slightly unbalances it, and that's where the objective goes down to a 9. Because if you unbalance a movie with a comedy with too much comedy, it will it does kind of drown it a little bit. So yes, objectively, this movie does fall to is about a 9. It's not as good as the first one. The first one is great. The second one is a shade under great. And subjectively, it's 10 out of 10. I like all three of these movies 10 out of 10 subjectively. And moviegoer, it's also a 10 out of 10. So moving on to How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World. This movie is a vast improvement with the effects and cinematography. The effects and cinematography are mind-blowingly way more advanced. In 5 years, they managed to make this movie look like it was being done by mocap actors. The way that they did so many of the effects, and how the camera work, how you had some of the camera work shaky, but that was by design, really great. I saw this one for the first time because I've seen the first 2 years back, but this one, brilliant work. This one I saw again, and the only problem with this one, this is more 8.5 objectively, because it lags a little, or the pacing is uneven. It's a lot more uneven than the first two. But all of these movies have one thing in common. Many things in common. Great story and great scores. And this one is objectively lesser, even with the improved effects and the greater acting and whatnot. However, the pacing is what hurts this film the most, because the pacing is up and down, and you have the villain in this one played brilliantly by F. Murray Abraham. Holy crap, him playing Grimmel, it's like, that is a villain that is almost Loki-like. Very mischievous. And it works to such a great degree. And this one also had a more expansive cast. I mean, Ragnar the Rock, played by Olafur Olafsson, is so freaking great. Now, folks, when I say that this movie is great, it has a very heartwarming ending, where you see that years have passed when Hiccup released Toothless so that he could be with the Light Fury. And him and Astrid finally get married, which is also nice. And when they finally go years later, when they have kids of their own, to see Toothless at the edge of the world, near the Hidden World. And Toothless is skittish because, well, they haven't seen each other in years. It reminds me of the Congo book, or the book Congo, where Amy the gorilla has children of her own, but doesn't allow them near her owner, or her former owner. But this movie does such a great job at tying it up. The story is a little bit lesser, however, with the pacing as well. However, I still radically enjoy this movie. All these movies subjectively are 10 out of 10, and Moviegoer are 10 out of 10, or maybe a 9.9 with this one, because the pacing does, it's like, I actually had to check how much longer was in the film, because it was starting to wear a little bit. But for the most part, this movie is such a good, heartwarming film. It has a great ending. And honestly, I do not understand why they feel the need to do a live-action adaptation of these films. This film, this one specifically, is very much close to live-action because of the way that the characters are moving. Their character movement is a lot more touched up, and very much the camera work sells it as almost a live-action film. I almost thought that it was live action at first, until I saw the animation style, which is a lot more tightened up, better lighting, better shading and whatnot. Holy crap, this film is greater quality visually, but still the story does drag. Now, one of the funnier things that I've noticed about these movies is 1 and 3 are done by Universal. However, 2 is done by 2 was done by 20th Century Fox. It has the 20th Century Fox thing go through, where 1 and 3 have the Universal Studios go, or has the Universal logo come through, and they all were associated with DreamWorks. But yes, this trilogy, objectively all together, you got 9, a 9, and an 8.5. So it's roughly an 8.75 out of 10, all three together. This movie, or these movies, are great together. They are great to watch. They're great to keep the kid, or it's a great family adventure. It works for adults and kids, because there are some themes that adults wouldn't, or that adults would get and kids wouldn't get. And I really do enjoy how these films increased in quality visually. However, the last one did dip a little bit in story. So that is the review, folks. I absolutely love the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. It is wonderful. I'm kind of dreading what they plan to do with the live-action adaptations, because I really don't think that these need to have a live-action adaptation. These movies are great as is, and I don't think they need a live-action adaptation, especially when they ended in 2019. So that is the review. Thank you so much to all those who watched this video. You all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Check out my other reviews. This will be in the review section, or review playlist. So yes, you can check out other reviews. Check out my live streams and other things, folks. Check the description for other areas to follow me on social media. This has been Orange Hat Reviews. Have a wonderful day, folks, and always to remember, stay humble.